Hello everyone, my name is Kira and today I will be covering Nefer for the third time in a row. Content farming much? Yeah, it is, but it doesn't matter because today I'll be discussing her kit, weapons, teams, artifacts and vertical investment so you can know how to make the most overpowered Nefer possible. So without much yap, let's get right in, shall we? Since I already explained her kit in detail before during the pre-release video, go check it out after this one. All you need to know is that Nefer works similarly to Lauma, where she needs to stack up the new Lunar Bloom reaction, which is just a bloom but prettier colors, which then stacks little crescents that you see on the screen when you play either Lauma or Nefer, called Verdant Dew. When you do that, it buffs your elemental skill, which unlocks a special charge attack that summons a clone of Nefer that does coordinated attacks, and this is her main damage source. On top of that, if there are two Not Cry characters in your party, her passive activates, which disables Bloom. Yes, you heard that right. Blooms stop working and instead she can consume them to buff up her ultimate nuke damage. Which funnily enough isn't all that strong, to the point it isn't even worth using half the time or building your energy recharge for. And that's it in a nutshell. Do lunar blooms and consume them to buff yourself and do big funny numbers. For her ascension materials, they are on screen, and after I let it marinate for a moment, the talent materials should be on screen. Sadly, the boss is not pre-farmable, but that's fine I guess. All the other things are farmable as of now. For the talent priority, you always level up your skill first, and then her burst being slightly lower on priority. And note that her normal attacks don't scale with the clones, and it's actually her E, so don't waste your resources on that. Before moving on with the video, please remember that there are less than 3% of my viewers watching being subscribed. I'm a small content creator and appreciate any support, so if this content helps you, please help me back. Thank you, and back with the video. For artifacts, you always run the Not Cry DPS set. Yes, even with only one member and half the stats, it's still ahead of most other sets by a pretty good amount. The only rivaling set would be the Fontaine Marechaussee set with Furina. But please don't torture yourself by locking a character that doesn't even benefit from damage percent as much as others to being forced to use Furina. The pretty merchant lady deserves better. For her main stats, you go for Elemental Mastery on Goblet and Sands, as she doesn't benefit too much from Dendro damage bonus, and Crit on the Circlet. For substats, you prioritize Crit of course, with Elemental Mastery not being too far behind. Attack percent gives a bit of damage, but it is too low for me to recommend going for intentionally. Moving on to her weapon, her signature is her best weapon, adding a whopping 124% crit damage in total, on top of 8% crit rate and a bit of Elemental Mastery. But fret not, dear viewer, because the new Not Cry craftable isn't too far behind, making Nefer one of the more F2P friendly characters weapons wise, as it isn't even 25% worse than the signature. It's still a good increase, but it is far from being necessary. Use the Not Cry craftable is the long and short of it. To talk about teams, I only need to mention two. Her standard team with Lauma as you'd expect, Nefer, Lauma, Nahida, Yalan. This is her best team damage wise, even if it doesn't have a sustainer. Sadly, she doesn't have that many good sustains without C1 Lauma, but that's okay. If you don't have a Lauma, which by the way, if you don't choose your biggest pull priority after getting Nefer, you run a standard F2P Hyper Bloom core with Xingqiu, Kuki, and Nahida or Dendro MC. I know it's not ideal and it does go against her kit philosophy, but that's sadly how restrictive she is. And that's her best team without Lauma either. I know it's a valid teammate if you want to activate the passive and replace Kuki, but I'm not sure how that kind of team would work honestly, or if it's gonna be better than the Hyper Bloom version. So yeah, I'd recommend Hyper Bloom before anything. Before ending the video, I want to quickly talk about her C1 and C2. They both give the same exact damage increase, which is 21%, but that is still lower than her signature, which gives 24% from the F2P option. So generally speaking, your priorities for Nefer vertical investment would be getting Lauma first and foremost, and then getting the signature. Going any further than that is your choice, and ultimately, it isn't a must to clearing endgame. It's just a brief mention before ending the video. With all of that out of the way, how would you rate Nefer? Are you pulling her, or is she a skip for maybe more enticing characters? Please let me know down below. If this video was entertaining or informative, please like and subscribe. I'm a small content creator and appreciate any support. Have a good day or night wherever you are, and bye.